Simon. Oh, I missed my, so they didn't record my comment about the glare. So thank you for that. I want to thank Lauren Lamine for providing, the technical support, and Chastity Romolo for the amazing work that they do to make these things happen. But being that I have you all, I want to give a brief shameless plug about the New Jersey Business Action Center and what we do and how we make life a lot easier for companies. So my department, the Office of Economic Development and Project Management, we help companies navigate state government, and we help them develop their projects with the least amount of friction as possible. So what does that mean? We provide site selection for companies. We provide permit assistance. We find grants and loans and whatever we can do to help build a building or improve a building. We're the people. We support your operations, your company's operations, and we try to make life easier for you. We don't want you calling every agency. You can call us, and we'll get through to all the agencies, including the gentlemen that are on the panel today, who do such a great job for the state. And the Office of Economic Development will get back to you within 24 hours. So we understand the speed of business, and we work that way as well. But also inside the BAC, and I wanted you guys to know all these things, is the Office of Planning Advocacy. Right now they're writing a state plan, which we have not had for 20 years. And it's important for all companies and all of us, all citizens, to know that this plan is coming out. And really what it's going to do is going to provide guidance to municipalities to figure out where they should build buildings and where they should move their sites. And while there's no real teeth to the guidance document, there will be, I'm sure, grants and loans and other opportunities that are going to be created with those sites in mind. So, look out for that plan and being on top of that. And if you wanted a copy of it, you can reach out to us or reach out to me, and I'll get you a copy of that. The planners are also important for us when we look for space, and when a company is looking to buy a building or buy land, we can work with the Office of Planning Advocacy to find out if there's any problems with that property, if there's any encumbrances or water that you need to know about, or endangered species or other things that might occupy that land. And so we can get that information for you, relatively easily. So also within the BAC sits the Office of Export Promotion, and the export team provides guidance on trade and assists companies with practical information on how to trade. They know the people in the consulates, they know the embassies, and they could take some of the fear out of exporting, and a great asset and ally. And I would encourage companies to all take advantage of at least a conversation with export team. We also have the Small Business Advocacy Department, and they handle, they assist companies. They have a live chat, and the live chat assists companies with, licensing. So if you want to be a woman-owned business or a veteran-owned or a minority-owned business, you come to our small business advocates, and they'll help you get that done. They'll help with the tax clearance certificates. But I think maybe the most important thing that they can do that no one else can is they have access to the Division of Taxation at the Department of Treasury. We have a direct link to them, which is really crucial. It's really not an easy group to get in touch with. We have the Office of Business Enhancement, which is run by the incomparable Jeff Bueller, who provides best practices for municipalities looking to enhance their downtowns. And then we have the Cannabis Training Academy, where we help cannabis companies learn how to become companies and learn all the regulations, all of the rules that they have to follow, and it's a lot. So we have a Cannabis Training Academy as well, and they're good. Cannabis companies are able to participate, I'm pretty sure, in most of the programs that we're going to talk about today. So if there's any cannabis companies out there, I hope you're listening. So on our call today are two members of our economic development team, Irene Crespo, who works with companies in Central Jersey. Yes, all right, Central Jersey exists, and Irene is helping it grow and develop. And Irene also has an expertise in life science with life sciences and technology companies, and can really helps them a lot. All right. So we also have Miles Pressey on, who's predominantly in South Jersey. And Miles also has expertise in film and digital media. So South Jersey, you can expect some studios and some filming being done, because that's where Miles is gonna put them. But I appreciate you guys being on today and helping us with answering questions and just helping this move forward. Greg Larkin is our North Jersey advocate. He is not on the call today, but he's our North Jersey guy. He's also a food and beverage manufacturing advocate. So if you're a food and beverage company, Greg will be your guy to help you. So Irene and Miles are manning the chat and they're answering questions. So go easy on them. But thank you guys for doing what you're doing. So I want to thank you, for allowing me the opportunity to introduce the BAC, but also to introduce our panelists, who I value more than just about anyone else. These two gentlemen have provided such resources, but also of just a valuable asset for companies to learn and to utilize these programs. So, first from our TRC Solutions, and just unfortunately, he's a Phillies fan, but we let him in anyway. Greg Reinert, and Greg has been, as I said, a valuable resource to us and to our team, and he's highly skilled, knows a lot about energy, all things energy. So I ask him questions, even though it might not be what he does for a living. I still ask him questions, and he answers them. Greg will be talking about new construction and gut rehabs, and what the incentives are and how to apply for them. So thank you, Greg. We also have Glenn Williams from TRC, and Glenn represents PSE&G with their energy savings program. And I say this. My guess is that Glenn, if you were to look at our phone logs and our email logs, I think you'd be the #1 person who receives phone calls and emails from our team for sure. All right, so we might have to do that and get a good metric on that. Glenn will discuss programs such as the direct install program, which I think is one of the greatest programs that I know of in the state. It provides up to 80% rebates on equipment that makes your space more efficient, but also saves you money. And Glenn, we appreciate all you do for New Jersey companies. These two guys want you to be successful. They want it to happen for you. And that's what I really appreciate most, is when I bring them into a call, or, I hear from a company about these guys, it's solid, they really want to help. So the program's going to go with Greg's going to lead off. He's going to speak for about 15 minutes. Please use the Q&A app down on the bottom to ask questions. We will answer them as much as we can as we go along. But what I really want to do is stump these guys. So any question that we can't answer, which might be a few, we're going to try to stump the panel today. These guys are smart guys. They know things. So, ask your tough questions. And then after Greg goes, then we'll have a question and answer 15-minute period for that, so that the questions are in your mind, and you can ask about gut rehab and new construction. Then Glenn will go also for 15 minutes, and then we'll have question and answer after that. We're also going to have a testimonial from a company, Route 66 from Hackensack, New Jersey, who is actually just completing their project now. And you can hear a little bit about firsthand about how it went for them and what they went through in the process. I just thank you all for being here. And there aren't very many programs that I've ever been involved with where I can say that there are at least 4 positive win type scenarios, but these guys have them. And when I say 4 wins, first, the direct install program will provide you an 80% rebate on your HVAC systems and your boilers or whatever else that we can find that reduces your energy costs. So first is the cost of the equipment that you're going to be getting. The second win is the money that you'll be saving on your energy bills. We all know that come June, our energy bills are all going up 17 to 20%. That's going to happen. The only real way that I know of right now to counter that is through the direct install it's through these programs. It's through these programs to reduce your energy bills. So new modern equipment will do that. And so, you know, I appreciate you all being here, and I hope we can connect you to these programs and make it actually happen for you, because, you know, these are wins, right? These are 2 wins financially that I talk about. The third win, obviously, is the environment. You know, when you have new, modern, and efficient equipment, it's good for the environment, and I think that's where these programs actually might have originated, right, from the idea of trying to help the environment. Third win. The fourth win, and I don't think it gets talked about enough, and I'm going to say it, is workforce. To me, you know, I imagine 95 to 100-degree day, and you know your workers are on the floor, and your 12-year-old or 15-year-old HVAC system conks out. You know that you either lose a day of work or you may lose your employees. You know, so having an energy, an efficient, a new, a modern, factory floor, to me is a workforce issue as well. Those are 4 pillars of approval that I have for these programs. So, with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic over to Greg for his presentation. Again, thank you so much for all you do. Greg, you're up.
Thanks, Steve. Let me share my screen real quick. Are you all seeing the slides? Okay, good. All right. I'm Greg Reiner, and as Steve mentioned, I'm with TRC also. I work on New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. I also work on the Atlantic City Electric's energy efficiency programs. And Irene, I want to thank you for really helping businesses that are in southern North Jersey and northern South Jersey, because there is no Central Jersey. It's one of those things Steve and I like to kind of go at. So, yeah. So we're going to get into a little bit about what the state program offers. And for some reason, I'm not moving slides. There we go. What we'll talk about real quickly is the state programs or the utility programs. Who are you going to go to? Which one do you use? The new construction program that just launched in May 1st for the state. And then we'll also talk about the legacy program that's going to continue for 6 months in transition. And then obviously questions and answers. So first thing we want to talk about is back in July of 2021, the BPU separated the energy efficiency programs, keeping for the clean energy program, new construction for all residential, commercial, industrial projects, large energy users, we're talking about people who have a minimum of $5 million a year in energy costs. I'm not going to go into that program. If you happen to be one of those, reach out to us and we'll talk about that, because that's very few users. We also offer programs for state facilities, local governments, and then also we have a combined heat and power and fuel cell program for self-generation. The BPU then sent all of those existing building retrofit projects, replacing LEDs, replacing an old HVAC, those kind of programs, along with energy efficient products and appliances and stuff, are now provided by the investor-owned utilities. You can see here Atlantic City Electric, PSE&G, South Jersey Gas, and Jersey Natural Gas, JCP&L, and others. So now I'm going to get into what is the new program that just launched. This is the program launch timeline. We are now in this middle period, the launch transition period. During this period, you do have an option to use the legacy program or the new program. In most situations, most projects, you would see that the new program is likely to provide a higher incentive level. In 6 months, and basically what we're talking about here is the last day of October, that transitions over and only the new program will be available. So a lot of this depends on your timing in a new construction project. For instance, if you're just starting the design phase, you're probably going to go to the new program. If you're already involved in a project or maybe even broke ground, you're going to be looking at the existing program. So the new program is a single program with a few pathways that will serve all projects, residential, commercial, industrial, basically any customer, as long as you're served by an investor-owned utility. There are a few cases that are municipal authorities that do not collect a societal benefits charge, like Vineland Electric, that are not eligible for these incentives. This process is going to be a much easier process, and it's going to rely on an approved partner network that will be providing the services, bringing you into the program, doing the applications, and all of that. This is meant to improve the customer experience from the previously, where, quite frankly, there was some of this stuff was pretty confusing and did take almost an energy engineer to complete the applications. So, what is the new construction pathway and the benefits? Well, like I said, it's going to have several pathways that fit your needs as your customers. You get to choose the pathway pretty much. Unless you're residential, then there's only one. And the incentives are based on the pathway itself and the project size. What I want to mention there is in the past, and which you'll see with the utility programs, the incentives are based on the equipment, the lighting, and stuff that you're putting in. This new program is not based on equipment. It's based on the square footage of your facility. And incentives will be based on square footage. All new construction gut rehab projects will qualify. And there are some additional incentives. For the first time, the New Jersey Clean Energy Program has added bonuses for carbon avoidance in design. Typically, this program has just been for energy efficiency. It's now we're trying to also add benefits for removal of greenhouse gases in the design of the facility. So this is the process. Basically, you pick a partner. The partner would register your project. The partners are, we have a good amount of partners already approved. We're still recruiting additional contractors, general contractors, architectural firms, engineering firms to join us as partners. So if you happen to have a project that's going on and your partner is not one of them, let's talk to them and get them approved. The program team would then pre-approve the design documents and commit the incentives. Construction would then start. There'd be there are potential inspections during that. Construction's completed, submit the closeout documentations, a final inspection, and you're paid. So, these are the three pathways that you're going to see. The high performance is the one that's going to have the highest incentive level, and it's basically getting national certifications like LEED, and we'll get into that a little bit more. Then there's Streamlined. That is using an online software product called Sketchbox to put you fill that out. It shows the energy incentive, your energy efficiency qualifies, and basically we're looking for about 5% at least over ASHRAE 19 code. And then there's Bundled. Bundled is probably the closest aligned to what we have now, but it's not based on equipment. Again, it's based on square footage. So we'll get into each one of these really quick. Bundled is going to be the first one I'm going to talk about. Here you have to do at least 2 measures. There's a whole list of measures on the website, and they have points. You also have to accumulate certain points. These conservation measures are much of the regular equipment that we would normally have been doing in the old program, LED lighting, HVAC, those kind of things, but also includes envelope and insulation measures that wasn't included in the prescriptive or custom program previously. These incentives will be 25 cents per square foot, and there is no added bonus for anything there. That is a flat 25 cents for this program. The Streamline program, on the other hand, is, the Streamline program, I'm just trying to mess with my screen for a second to get something out of the way. There we go. The Streamline program, like I mentioned, is going to use the Sketchbox software. This is ideal for simpler building designs, pretty straightforward designs, nothing, high-tech equipment or anything like that, just basic designs. And again, what we're looking for is at least 5% energy savings above code. And the project must address each one of those following building systems that you see listed underneath that blue box. That would be envelope, lighting, heating, and cooling. So each one of those would have to be addressed in this design. Incentives for this program are 50%, 50 cents per square foot. But as you can see in that little house to the right, the image, the high performance and the streamline pathway have little leaves on it. Those are the ones that are going to be eligible for that greenhouse gas reduction. So streamline is, high performance is, bundle is not. Also, I want to mention one other thing. Streamlined and bundled are only for C&I, commercial, industrial. They are not for residential. Residential can only use the high performance pathway. So here's the streamlined pathway measures and the type of buildings that we're looking to do that qualify. Basically, it covers just about everything. I can't imagine that there's a building that doesn't qualify or even measures that don't. So let's just give you a quick idea of what we're looking for. The high performance pathway is definitely a whole building approach, and incentives are awarded in tiers by proxy certification or the ASHRAE modeling. Now, as you can see, tier 1 is basically Energy Star and ASHRAE and Green Building Council certifications, and that offers $1 per square foot. The Zero Energy Ready Homes pays $1.75 a square foot, and then Passive House for both residential and non-residential pays $2.50 per square foot. So again, what this is showing is that proxy certifications for non-residential are Passive House or FISIS. Residential can use Energy Star, Zero Energy Ready Homes, Passive House, or FISIS. Or again, non-proxy and non-residential can also use the ASHRAE modeling. This high performance is basically, we're looking at LEED and Passive House for non-residential. This kind of give you the LEED points requirements. I'm not going to get into this. If this is something you're interested in, you'll reach out to us, we'll discuss it, and we'll get you connected with a partner that can move this forward. Again, the high performance ASHRAE modeling is a potential, and we're looking for 5% energy savings. So the new construction incentives, as I mentioned, the high performance pathway is for residential. It's the only one that they can use. Non-residential can use all three. You have the rates, but you can also see the GHG bonus reduction bonuses for high performance and streamline. They range from 0.7 to 0.99 tons of CO2 removed, getting 25 cents, up to over 3 tons, getting an extra $1.50 per square foot. There are also enhanced incentives for being in an opportunity zone, an EZ zone, or an industrial high energy intensity zone, and they range from those numbers you can see down there. So again, this is what I just mentioned. It's the greenhouse gas reduction and the incentives that are available. And then the enhanced incentives I also just mentioned. They are available for residential affordable housing, non-residential developments in designated areas of the state, and industrial high energy and energy efficiency, which is obviously not EU, EZs, OZs, OBCs. So this is our legacy program. If you have a project underway or just recently completed the project, basically, if you purchased the equipment within the last 12 months and the date on the purchase order is within the last 12 months, you are still eligible to apply for these incentives. Now, that would be the prescriptive, not the custom, though. The cap is $500,000 per electric account, $500,000 per natural gas account. And These are the prescriptive measures that we can do a look back for the 12 months. Or if you're just doing now, you can actually do. So it's got electric chillers, gas cooling, electric HVACs, heat pumps, gas heating, variable frequency drives, gas water heating, lighting and lighting controls, refrigeration doors, refrigeration controls, commercial food service equipment. If you have cafeterias, you're a restaurant, anything like that, they are also listed, and refrigerator and freezer motors. So any of those that were done over the last year, you still qualify for the incentives as long as the equipment applied. And here's my contact information. Please reach out to me with anything, or certainly you can reach Steve, Irene, and everybody else at NJBAC, and they can pull me into any conversations. Steve, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that, and I hopefully will be getting a lot of calls. I have a question. It's really just a process question. Kind of what is the process? So, one of our viewers here is going to call me, right? And I'm going to bring you in. What happens then?
It's really easy. Once you bring me in, I talk to them. We figure out what they're doing, what they're, what stage are they at, and we figure out what the best fit program is. And as you know, Steve, plenty of times you've called me and we thought it was a new construction or a gut rehab project. And as we talked to them, we realized, well, it's not really a gut rehab project. And a gut rehab project is, you're not changing light fixtures, you're ripping out the entire lighting system. You're not changing an HVAC unit, you're ripping out all the ducting and the HVAC units, designing new systems, putting them in. It's really gutting a building. But we've once we have that conversation, we can decide what program's best for them. And if they happen to be a PSE&G customer and they're using under 300 kW in peak demand, and we know they qualify for direct install, I'm going to connect them with Glenn, and he's going to get them started on direct install. Or if it's in Central Jersey, it may be somebody else, but we can connect you with any of the utility companies if that happens. With the new construction program just launched, the first thing we'll try to do is connect you with that approved partner, and they're going to take them through the program. It's going to be nice and easy. They're basically have somebody that's going to do all the work, all the applications, all of the paperwork, and take care of all of that for them. The process, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for businesses to participate.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Miles has a question.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. One of the questions that came in from one of the participants, are there any grants or incentives for demand management?
The BPU may have programs or not as part of the clean energy program. But there is demand response programs that are ran by PJM at the grid level also.
Okay. And Steve, this question is for you. It's just a presentation.
Well,
question.
Miles, I'm sorry, I just want to follow up on Greg's answer too. Call us, right? Like call us offline, call us, reach out to us. This is what we do, right? If we don't know the program, we'll find it. So, that's what I would suggest, reach out to us. Sorry, Miles.
Yeah, sure. It's just a presentation question, whether or not this recording is going to be available later, as well as the slides.
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is for you to know everything you need to know. So absolutely, and we're available for afterwards for questions, and we just want to help. So yes, the presentations will be available and the slides. Thank you.
And just to add to that real quick, this is a very high overview. In 15 minutes, there's much more to it. We just want you to understand that there's programs out there for this. And when you're going to do something, reach out to us and we'll work with you. We'll figure it out for you.
Absolutely. Great. All right. Thank you, Greg. I think that was our questions for that. And we're gonna move over to Glenn and TRC/PSE&G. Glenn, thank you for joining us. Maybe you can give a little intro as to how you work with PSE&G as part of TRC, and then give your presentation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you there, Stephen. I appreciate you and your team. My name is Glenn Williams. I am a outreach consultant or senior energy efficiency advisor with TRC. We are the implementation company for PSE&G. So any PSE&G projects that come through, we're the company that handles the back end work, all the applications, the engineering team, the inspectors. We have a call center, so we handle everything from soup to nuts. PSE&G cuts the checks. They're the Santa Claus in the deal. All right, so let me jump into my slide. Okay, can you see my slide? All right. Again, as I mentioned, I am with PSE&G, as we're the implementation company for PSE&G, and we have outstanding rebate programs. And my job is to bring awareness. There's so much that is out there, and so much money out there to help you to become more energy efficient, to follow the clean energy rules that are in place for your business. If you have outdated, old HVAC, boiler, heating, cooling system, we are here to help you to replace those outdated equipment with new energy efficiency equipment. The agenda today, so we'll go into is I'll discuss briefly the program overview, the three major programs that we have, which is the prescriptive program, the custom program, and the small business direct install program. Don't be thrown by the word small business, because this applies to large, small. You can have a small mom and pop candy store as far as a Budweiser plant or facility. It doesn't matter how large or how small. We'll talk about OBR, which is outstanding as well, the on-bill repayment plan for the balance. We have, as Greg mentioned as well in his previous presentation, the legacy plan. We have what is called the, should be 90-day look back. PSE&G just recently changed that to the 90-day look back program. So any projects that you have just completed within the past 90 days, we will go back and look at it. We have the Trade Ally program as well, and the cohort program. So I'll go into briefly each one of those, and I look forward to your questions. Okay, program details. First thing I always ask is, would you like to reduce your monthly utility bills? Everyone says yes, especially with June rolling around. You're looking at an increase of maybe up to 17% on your PSE&G bill. So my role is to help you to reduce that bill by up to 30%. Win-win. Do you currently have old and inefficient lighting, HVAC, boiler, hot water system, or anything? Kitchen equipment? We will help you to replace that. Those questions, ask yourself that. Are you aware the typical office building, heating and cooling, lighting represent up to 71% of the office total energy use, depending upon the climate, cold weather, summer or winter? The Business Energy Saver programs, again, offers financial assistance. And as Stephen mentioned earlier, it's up to 80% off on a direct install program, which is what I call a granddaddy program, which is, I'm in Northern New Jersey, the Aaron Judge program. I like to replace him. So you run into situations where you may say to yourself, where I can't afford to pay that right now. It's not within our budget. No problem. PSE&G will take care of that. There's no upfront cost. PSE&G will pay, let's say the project is $100,000 and they fund $70,000 of the project. PSE&G will cut a check for $70,000 to pay off the contractor. The balance of the $30,000, you can add your utility bill, spread over 5 years with 0 interest, or you can work out a payment arrangement with the contractor. But to pay that bulk of $100,000 is tremendous. As I mentioned earlier, and Steve mentioned, we pay up to 80% of the cost to cover those. The program purpose, the purpose and the features of the program is, one is to help you to become more energy efficient, retrofit, add on, change those things. Clean energy program is a tremendous boost. Helps meet the goal of clean energy usage up to 2% on natural gas, on electricity 2% and 0.75% on natural gas. Like I said, PSE&G currently working with commercial, industrial businesses to assist lowering the utility bill, and our goal is up to 30%. Doesn't matter, again, which line of business you're in. You can have an office building, you can have automotive, you can have a warehouse, a data center, you can have a mom and pop store, you can have a restaurant, a barbershop. Long as you are a PSE&G commercial account holder or user, you're eligible for the program. Long as your utility bill across the top says commercial, that's fine. You can have a multifamily house, and apartments that you have are residential, and the residents are paying their own utility bill separately. But you have the common areas which hold a commercial account. That common area will be eligible for the rebate program. So you may have a boiler system or a furnace in the basement that's heating and cooling that area. You may have an HVAC that's heating and cooling the common area. Not a problem. We still, that, as long as it has that commercial account tied to it, you're eligible. Program eligibility and incentives is very simple. It's not complicated at all. Equipment must meet the program efficiency requirements. And the best way to describe that is when you're walking into Home Depot or Lowe's and you're buying an appliance, you want to look for that appliance that has that Energy Star on it, that shows that it meets the requirements of energy efficiency. Same with lighting, heating, cooling, HVACs, all those measures. You must be a PSE&G customer for at least 1 year. That's for the direct install program only. For prescriptive and custom, it's a little bit more flexible. Must result in a permanent reduction of PSE&G energy usage. The way we calculate the savings is we look at the old measure. Let's say it's an HVAC, and that HVAC is 25 years old. Compare it to the new HVAC system that you're putting in, you're installing. It calculates the savings for you. And it also pulls details from your square footage of your building, your size of your building, your operating hours of the building. So all those factors are calculated into calculating your energy savings for you. Equipment must remain in place for at least 5 years. I often get calls from customers that say that they just replaced the LEDs and they want to replace them. Long as they outside the 5 years, they're eligible. If they're within the 5 years, you can replace them, but they will fall up on the custom program because they're still fall within that efficiency period of 5 years. Okay, the PSE&G Energy Saver Program, as I mentioned, there actually are 4, but the Energy Management Program is handled a little differently. Those are for your large facilities like your Budweiser plant that produces over 1 million kilowatts of energy, that kind of thing. But the most important ones are the prescriptive, custom, and small business direct install. And we will go into details of each one of those. Okay, first one we're going to talk about is the prescriptive program. With the prescriptive program, it offers incentives. Prescriptive is more or less up 1-for-1 replacement. So if you're replacing a light bulb, you replace another light bulb. And we have what is called a prescriptive energy measure guide. That guide is black and white. It will tell you if you're replacing a 2x4 flat panel light, how much this new 2x4 flat panel light will be. Maybe $100 or that kind of thing. So it's basically 1-for-1 replacement, black and white. And it also covers the look back program as well. That's where the look back program. I always suggest for the prescriptive, it's very good, but I would also look for lighting under prescriptive. But HVACs, I would definitely look for under direct install, which we will go into later. Again, this is a snapshot of the measure guide of the first page. And on the measure guide, the table of contents, you can see up under the prescriptive would be lighting, HVAC, heating, water, refrigeration, food service, miscellaneous, which is plug loads, custom program is available under that measure guide as well. Also, when we talk about food service, you're looking at restaurants, you're looking at maybe supermarkets or grocery stores, those kind of things. We don't think about that often enough. The refrigeration in the restaurants and the supermarkets is tremendous energy usage. To pre-qualify for energy efficiency equipment under the prescriptive program, again, long as you're a PSE&G account holder, you are eligible. These are some of the common prescriptive measures that we look at: LED fixtures, the sensors and controls, HVAC systems and equipment, water heating equipment, food service equipment, again, touching on your restaurants, your ovens, your stoves, your refrigeration, your freezers, appliances are included in this, and much, much more. There's a 30-page guide that we have that we refer customers to. And I always tell the customers, take that guide, look at that guide page by page, and check off which measures that you would like to replace. And then we will sit down and go over measures and discuss the next steps. Custom program. The custom program was just increased as of January 1st. So we increased the gas therms savings to $7 per therm. The electric is $1 per kilowatt, and the incentives were capped at 50%. Now it's capped at 60%, Stephen. And the custom applications, what I'm getting, I received tremendous number of calls for custom, and those for your chillers and your large HVAC system. But again, I can provide a site walkthrough. Just give me a call. I'll come out and visit your location, do a walkthrough, and we can determine what the best program that will fit your application need. This is the granddaddy of all the programs, as I mentioned earlier, which is the direct install program. Offers comprehensive, cost-effective, energy efficient measures, and it cuts your energy costs by up to 30%. And as I mentioned earlier, that is the goal of the program, is to help you to reduce your bill by up to 30%. Eligible business customers must have a 12-month individual facility usage. Average peak demand has now been increased from 200 to 300. So that opens the door for a lot more customers and a lot more businesses to fit up under the direct install program. Incentives are paid directly to the trade allies or to the contractors. So when you have a contractor or trade ally, your project, again, just to give you a scenario, a $10,000 HVAC system, or maybe a 5-ton unit. That 5-ton unit generally is $10,000. So let's say PSE&G pays $7,000 of that project. The balance of $3,000 go on your utility bill, or you can add it to or you can pay the contractor directly. But if you add it to your utility bill on the OBR program, the on-bill repayment program, that balance of $3,000 is spread out over 5 years. Now, that contractor, to make him or her whole, we will cut 2 checks. One check for the rebate amount, the second check for the balance. So the contractor is made whole. Customer has no upfront costs. And this is very beneficial when you say to yourself, I can't afford to pay it. It's not within my budget right now. No problem. PSE&G will cover the cost to replace those things for you. The customer will pay as little as 20%. As I mentioned, it's up to 80%. and over 60 months, 5 years on an OBR. Again, this is the parameters. This is the PSE&G territory as JCP&L. As Greg had mentioned earlier, oftentimes I receive calls from customers and they say, give me account number. I pull up the account information and I can see that it's a JCP&L electric customer. I will refer it to one of my colleagues as well. So again, it's up to 300 kilowatts. And you can see that usually it's on page 2 of your utility bill, 2 or 3. You can see there's a graph or a chart that will show you your average peak demand, how it fluctuates. And a lot of times with the HVAC system, it tends to go up. The electric goes up in the summertime. So you can see how it fluctuates. And 300 kilowatts is a lot. It may sound like small minor number, but that's a lot of kilowatt usage. Must be a PSE&G customer for a year. Multifamily or mixed-use buildings are eligible, as I mentioned earlier, in the common areas. No double dipping with the midstream program results in a permanent reduction of PSE&G energy usage. Small restaurants are prime targets. As I mentioned earlier, one of the greatest energy usage is the restaurants. And as you can see on an average annual basis, restaurant spends $2.90 per square foot on electricity and 85 cents per square foot on natural gas. So common measures that we look for when I do a walkthrough at a restaurant are your cooking equipment, your water heating, your refrigeration or freezer equipment. Any space heating represents your HVAC. That's 80% of the cost of most restaurants. And when I recently did some walkthroughs at a certain restaurants, I can see why the prices are where they are because their utility bill is very high. So a large office building, a typical annual electricity cost for 100,000 square foot building is greater than $180,000 per year. Their energy represents about 19% of total expenditures for a typical office building. So as you can see, most of the common electric use targets are your HVAC, your lighting, your computing system, but also, in those large buildings, I've seen chillers, large HVACs. So there's some other common measures that I take a look at as well when I do a walkthrough at an office building. Another one that I was looking at because I was recently down in area of Mount Laurel, and Mount Laurel it has the third highest concentration of hotels. And I'm receiving calls from hotels that are in proximity of the Meadowlands due to the FIFA that's coming to New Jersey. With the FIFA World Cup coming to New Jersey, hotels, restaurants are all upgrading their facilities. And one of the things I noticed that at a particular particular hotel there, they were upgrading, they were replacing HVAC, the PTACs in the rooms, the laundry system, the HVAC on the rooftop, pool covers, ton of things they were upgrading and replacing in any event increase customers for the hotels. So it's huge. Again, you got the guest occupancy sensors, you got the smart thermostats, the boiler retrofits, the elevators. A lot of customers aren't aware that elevators, motors may be included in this too. It will fall up under the custom program. You want to think about in terms of anything that draws electricity or anything that draws gas, thermal energy, commercial ovens, on-site laundry equipment. So if you own a hotel, you may want to consider, if you need to replace those items, we're here for you. As I mentioned earlier, we have a program called OBR. That's an acronym and stands for On-Bill Repayment Eligibility. all customers are eligible. As long as you're a PSE&G customer applying for one of the programs and fill out an application for a project, you are eligible. What we do is we do an Experian credit check. We meet an Experian credit check on the business, not your personal. And when we do the Experian credit check, we look at your credit, we're looking at your credit score on your Experian account. And again, the payment is the balance. It's only on the balance of the project after you deduct the rebates amount. So the balance you can add to your utility bill spread over 5 years, 0 interest, which is outstanding and amazing. So again, there's no upfront cost to the customer. We cut 2 checks for the contractors under the direct install program. Typical case study of warehouse lighting, annual kWh saved on the kilowatts, 209,000. Total project costs, 134,000. Incentives applied, 102,000. And the OBR was 32,000, which was added to the utility bill spread over 5 years. Again, the 90-day look back program. I always say, don't forget that's low-hanging fruit. So if you have any projects that you have recently completed within the past 90 days, they can be eligible for the look back program. So what I usually do is look at the invoice date and look at the measures that were replaced, and we take it from there. The next step would be, if it's eligible equipment, we fill out the application, submit the application, and then you go through the process, through the pipeline, and get your check. We're also looking for contractors. Always looking for contractors. We have close to 300 contractors in the system, but we're also looking for always adding more contractors. So when contractors go through a vetting process and to become a trade ally. The vetting process is that we check their for background, for references. We look for a certificate of insurance. We look for they have a license in New Jersey. And then once they submit those documents, there is a video that they watch, which is also a quiz that they have to take. Once they complete that process, become a trade ally, then they can start receiving work through the program and offering the rebates through the program. So if you know any contractors that are interested in becoming a trade ally, send them my way. The difference between a contractor and a trade ally: a contractor delivers products and or services to the utility customers. A trade ally is an approved contractor, specifically trained to access the programs and use application to maximize the program benefits for the utility customers. That's an important piece right there, because a lot of customers have a challenge with completing the application. When you use a trade ally, the trade ally completes the application for you. So once you select a trade ally, that trade ally will offer you a proposal. Through that proposal, they will complete an application for you. You sign off on that application and they upload the application into the portal, PSE&G portal. We have a team of representatives. Make sure that you're receiving the highest rebate. We have inspectors that come out and do on-site inspections, a pre-inspection, a post-inspection. So we have a team, and also an EEA. So every application is assigned a team, an EEA, a project coordinator, an engineer, and an inspector. Every project is assigned a team. So we can move your project through the pipeline, as well as get your project completed as quickly as possible. Trade Ally program of features. As I mentioned, you get a dedicated outreach professional, an NJBAC, the on-bill repayment to your advantage, expedite the connection with engineering support. Engineer will look at your project. So there's access the program, train personnel, 4 months. We have bi-weekly calls with the trade ally contractors. The trade ally contractors meet with the EEAs on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and they go through each project or application to make sure that we're all on the same page and to move that application through the pipeline as quickly as possible. Those weekly meetings are crucial, are very important. I can't say enough about those. The last but not least, we have on-the-job training program. PSE&G has a program that's the purpose of the program is to provide pathways for candidates to obtain experience, secure a full-time job in the clean energy industry. Program designed to enhance the community of skill sets needed for clean energy. So what they will do is they will train individuals, pay them while they're training, and when the trade allies need additional support, they can go out and select, the trade ally can select one of these on-the-job training or cohorts, as we call them. They can select a cohort. A cohort will go to the job site and work with that trade ally. And I think PSE&G pays their salary for about 6 weeks while they're on the job site. Then after that point, the trade ally or contractor will make a decision whether they want to keep that person. And this program has been tremendous. I have a lot of friends that went through this program, and the companies have kept them on permanently. So it's a very good program to get more people in the industry. Example of the positions that are included are energy efficiency specialists, field technician, weatherization technicians. Example of some of the training classes are air leakage control, building science principles, energy efficiency 101, HVAC, heat pump fundamentals, lighting 101, Microsoft Suite, OSHA 10, and relevant industry application tools. So that helps. So when I see a trade ally or contractor that needs support for their applications, because again, the customers do not fill out the application. The trade ally fills out the application, completes it for them on their behalf. So if a trade ally has a ton of projects and a ton of jobs coming through, and they don't have they're not hiring outside, we can provide them with the support as well. So if they're looking to participate in the program, they can always reach out to me and I will put them in contact with the right people. And I'd like to thank you for your time. Thanks, Steve, for having me be a part of this wonderful program.
Thank you so much, Glenn. I mean, thank you for everything that you do for our companies in the state, and thank you for being here today. We have a bunch of questions we're going to get to, but what I think I'd like to do is introduce a company that's been through the program, because we might answer some questions just through her experience. And it's really an honor for me to introduce Monica Lee from Route 66 in Hackensack, a company that we've grown to know very well and become real partners. And I really appreciate working with you, Monica. And I know that you're just about finished with your project. And so I figure maybe, you can give an introduction to your company, and then we could talk about the program.
Thank you, Steve. We are a seaweed manufacturer in Hackensack, and we are selling like a seaweed, roasted seaweed to the sushi restaurant. And like we are kind of a still new company. It's been only like 6 years, but then from the day one, we've been working with Steve and Greg, the Business Action Center, and so. We've been getting huge support in many ways, and actually this is the one of the like a miracle, big huge support that we had from the Business Action Center. So I'm so happy that we have this program. It's almost done. Yes,
that's great. So thank you for that, Monica. And I think it would be instructive to talk about the process a little bit. and how it's been for you. So I know that we talked and we introduced you to Glenn, and then what happened from there? Can you tell us?
So actually, yeah, like I would have never known about this program. Like, this is amazing program. Unless Steve and Greg introduced to us one day. And then it was too good to be truth, actually. So I kind of, it's really, really good plan, but we have so many things to do as a small business. But I remember that every season we worry about like over 30 years old units for each building, like hoping we can survive one more season with this old unit. But then I quickly contact Greg again and ask about the program again. And actually, Greg came to our office with Glenn. And then actually, I cannot remember all the details, but it was so smooth because Glenn really take care of everything. And he recommend a few companies that we will contact as a contractor. So I think only the part that we need to really do something is to contact few companies and have a meeting with them and have them to just come over and give us a proposal. And then we had to make a decision which company that we want to work with. But then everything else is so smooth. So it's a process is kind of the overwhelming, but as an owner, I don't really need to worry about it or need to remember anything, because most of all, I work with the state, the Business Action Center, and also that Glenn is very professional and he has all the knowledge that we need to. So even though I don't know, I don't remember exactly what kind of the program, but I think that's the best part, that once you have a meeting and start the first step, then you don't need to much worry about the process.
Yeah, and that's our experience with all the companies we work with that are going through this. It's you bring Glenn in, and he makes you feel comfortable, right away, and he takes charge. And what happens then is he looks at your equipment and he looks at your utility bills and makes sure that which program that would be best for you. And he'll give you a list of companies that are trade allies. And then, your only job at that point is to just interview the trade allies, or at least call them and bring them in. And what we're finding, some of the questions I get are, what if, even though it's an 80% rebate, what if they upcharge you, a lot more, than the project's actually worth? And I think, our experience is that the trade allies know what they need to do, and they're not going to be trade allies for long if they're not part of the program. And then if you have 3 or 4 contractors that you're talking to, you're going to go with the best one, right? So it's a competitive process in that way. But what they do is, from what I understand, is it's an audit that they're really doing of your systems. Each contractor is going to do those audits for you, and they're just going to send you, an invoice, or and say, hey, this is what it's going to be. Again, Glenn said it, no money out of your pocket until the project's completed, and then you pay, the 20%, which for PSE&G and for most utility companies is a 0% interest loan for 5 years. It's like a car payment, which when you get all this new equipment. So Monica, where are you in the process?
We are actually there are many units, but the last unit, which is the cooling system, and yesterday they almost finished, but they just need to have the electrician come by and then recheck something for the finalize. But they are very professional. Like, it doesn't matter the which company that you work with. Actually, that they are way more professional than we expected. And actually, the preparing the process, like the last unit is under the ethic, and we don't even know how to get into the ethic. But then they hire the professional carpenters and prepare everything professionally. So I think and also that when we compare the between companies, right? And I tell them that I like your proposal better, but only one thing that you gave me this unit, but I like the other brand is better. Then they just no problem. We will switch the brand that you like. So I think there is a like a great like flexibility, work with them. And even like our heater last year, like the just like broke one day, so just broke. And they were very nice, nice to like accelerate the process and replace the heater like in a few months, few weeks in advance, because they don't want us to be like cold in the weather. So those things like very, very flexible, and they are very professional. So I and also that the audit from the inspection audit, every process is very thorough. So they know that they have to have the audit, and they have to make sure that PSA engine come and inspect the things. So everything is like very smooth. And as a business owner, that we are really happy that it's like we get everything for free. Honestly, yeah.
Well, that's a big number, free.
Yeah.
And I get that question a lot. With regards to the audits, and people wonder if that's free, and that is a free for most companies. I think if you're a large energy user, there may be some cost to it, but for most companies, mid-sized companies, it's going to be a free audit, and that's really it's a cool thing, So, Monica, I thank you so much for being a thriving company in the state, and for providing so much. And you're being very modest that you're one of the very, very few companies that manufacture seaweed here in the United States.
Yeah.
And you're doing it right here in New Jersey, and I think that's a really fun story. And I wish you all the success in the world, and I think you're doing really well. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah. And if I can add just last comment that I think it's like every small business like us, that it's really important to work with Business Action Center, because it's like having a teammate from the state, and who always look out for our business. So not only this amazing program, but like I always talk to you or Greg about what is our like new project or challenges or whatever, that I always try to keep you posted, because I never know that what kind of support that I will get from the state. So I think I really strongly encourage every business to work with the Business Action Center, and I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I tell that too to companies. That I tell them that, first of all, everyone should have us on speed dial, right? I mean, that's first. But second, well, I forget my point of view, but I think that your experience is a typical experience in this realm, right? We're getting a lot of companies that are going through this program, happy as can be, because they didn't know it existed, didn't think that it was for real, and then all of a sudden have this brand new modern, like getting a new car, pulled into their driveway, and they still haven't spent a dime yet. So I really encourage everyone to take advantage, and I thank you so much, and thank you for your kind words about the Business Action Center. And there are other, this is my point, and there are other grants that the state has that can be coupled with these programs. And so that's why I'd say it's important to reach out to us so we can put together a real comprehensive list of opportunities, So
Yeah.
thank you, Monica. Thank you so much. And I think at this point, we're going to have to go to questions for Glenn. And if there's any questions for us, please ask away. Miles, do you want to handle the questions?
Yeah, I have one question here from our guy Glenn in Barrington. He wanted to know whether or not air compressors with modulating VFD motors are included in the incentives of grants.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. He can give me a call. And in Barrington, so that's South Jersey.
Yes, right near Cherry Hill. Yeah.
Yes. I'm down in that area quite often. I was in Deptford 2 days ago.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. And I have another question from a PSE&G customer, and they wanted to know whether or not PSE&G customers in New York would qualify for this.
Yes, we do have PSE&G customers out in Long Island as well. And if they share their information, I will definitely pass it along.
Okay, great. And one other question is, will we get energy audit reimbursements or incentives?
Energy audit reimbursements?
Yes.
Depends. Well, the audits are free. So
Okay.
when they come out, they provide the contractors, they provide free audits.
Great.
So if you have a large facility like a Budweiser plant, that falls up under a different type of realm or business. And then we have to go into energy management system, and I have to refer them to that team.
Hey, Glenn, I always notice you like Budweiser, don't you?
Well, because it's in my head. I can see that plant, and it was huge and a tremendous amount of energy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I can
All
say
right.
a golf course. Okay.
Okay, and then Irene, I think you had something about you had a couple of questions as well, right?
Yes, there are. So we know that PSE&G and other utilities provide the same incentive or similar incentive. There's a great comment, Greg. You did a great presentation. And then there's another one here that we need to reflect. You covered the energy audit.
I have
in relation to the REAP program grant.
Yes, if they're looking for an audit or a contractor walkthrough, all they have to do is give me a call, and I will take the next steps in scheduling. We will coordinate and schedule a couple of site visits.
Sounds good. Hey, Glenn, my buddy Chris, who's on, had a question about, well, and I'm going to answer part of the question, and then I'm going to ask you the rest of it. So most of the all the utility companies have similar programs. Is that right? Like,
Correct.
we had PSE&G on. It's our largest utility. But it was really a 30,000-foot view of that all the utilities have direct install. So whatever your utility company is, we'll connect you to them. Glenn, it just happens to be family for us, so we had him,
Thank you. I
anytime.
appreciate that.
But he also Chris asked a good question about some municipalities have their own utility, or have their own energy production. Like City of Vineland has its own electric generating utility, and some small boroughs have their own, operate their own electric utility. Do they have programs, or how does
They would have to check with those utility companies directly, because I know certain utility companies may have it, but the energy rebates aren't as robust.
Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
Hey guys, I like to clarify this question. It says, reflecting on eligibility for incentives, does this mean that TRC does energy audits that could also be applied to the REAP programs? Realizing REAP is currently on pause.
I'm not
you know,
familiar with the REAP
what-
program.
REAP is a USDA program, United States
Mhm.
Department of Agriculture program for energy. But I don't know. I don't, it's a good question
I
when we
know
don't.
we do offer rebates for under agriculture as well. So there would be an energy audit for through our program for any agricultural equipment.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually have a client that's going through energy audits for greenhouses. So,
And
yeah.
How about EV chargers? Does
That's
that count?
through a separate division. So, but if they have EV charging questions or need a representative, I can always refer them to, because that's a different,
Yeah.
that doesn't fall under our scope.
Right. And from what I understand, PSE&G has a grant for EV charging stations as the make ready. So what it does is they'll give a grant for getting the wires in and the equipment in, and then there's a program through the Department of Environmental Protection that can pay for a little bit of a grant for the actual charging station itself. So come
you
to
go.
us for that, come to us, you come to Glenn, you come to Glenn, you come to us, we'll but don't, I stress this, we're comprehensive, right? So we're going to find grants and opportunities from every angle we can find it from, right? And it doesn't have to just be state government. We can work federal government, local, but it could also be utilities, and it could also be private industry. So we're always looking out for that. So, if you call us and you're interested in talking to Glenn, we can connect you to Glenn. But I strongly encourage not only you who are on this call, but your customers, your your partnerships, your network. Because there's a sense of urgency a little bit right now. We understand that your utility costs are going to go up, and for us, we're thinking about you, the company, and so we want you to take advantage of every opportunity you can take, and especially ones that can reduce your energy bills. So I don't know how many more questions we have. I see interest free for 5 years. Yes. It could be paid off on your bill, from what I understand, right? You can just pay
Correct.
your bill will go up a little bit,
Yep.
but you can pay it off on your energy bills.
There's a prevailing wage question here. Do the utility grants require prevailing wage labor as part of the conditions?
No, they don't.
They do not. So that is really, a lot of state grants and state run programs have those requirements. Utility companies are not burdened or don't have the state control on them. But also too, if I may, the work is part of the deal, right? So the labor is part of the incentive.
Right.
So
material and labor.
Right.
Yeah, with the state program does have the prevailing wage requirement
Right.
because
There you
it's
have it.
a state program. Yeah.
Right. Right. But we're not going to beat up on the state, because the state has actually helped. We as bill payers and the state have stepped up to provide these incentives that are available. And so we're not going to beat up on the state. We're going to appreciate what we have.
Right.
I like to also mention that we're talking about energy incentives from utility companies, but the gas companies provide the same or similar incentive, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. And I have a company that I work with in Ocean County that had just gone through the direct install program with New Jersey Natural Gas. They also had Atlantic City Electric and they just chose to go with New Jersey Natural Gas. I think maybe they had a contractor, a trade ally who gave them the best deal, right? So even if most of your equipment is electric and some of it is gas, you can still participate with either utility.
Yes,
So,
with utilities, depending on what measure you're installing or replacing. So if it's electric HVAC and your electric gets through JCP&L or PSE&G, you have to go with whichever utility company that supplies that.
Right. So you have a lot of options. You have a lot of opportunities. We're going to guide you through the whole process. You know, all of us on this call, we're all advocates for companies, and we look forward to supporting you in any way we can. I really appreciate Glenn and Greg for, you know, being here, and just, it's more than just being here. It's being there for the companies that we bring to you and that come to you. It's a great benefit for the state, for what you guys do. I really appreciate Monica being here, and I love hearing your story. And I know there was one call where you called us and just told us that the equipment has arrived, and the excitement, you know, I mean, we were as excited, Monica, or if not, maybe even more excited than you were when we got that call. Equipment was there. It was really, we want you to succeed. We're here to help you succeed. We're here to bring these opportunities to you. Hopefully we're going to do more of these kind of webinars that bring opportunities to you. And thank you all for participating. I think at this point we don't have any more questions. I know there was a person that wanted to be a trade ally. Come to us, and we'll connect you to the program, and we'll make it happen. So thank you all for participating. Any questions, call us. But again, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. That's the conclusion of our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Monica.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Irene.
Nice seeing
Thank you,
everyone.
Greg.
Thank you.
Yeah.